There are no red carpets in Wyoming, and no one ever asks you, who are you wearing? Because the answer is always Target.
Really? Well, friends, if you don't understand why Trump won, here is Exhibit 9947. Last week, Bill Maher did a segment where he went off on Middle America, and I've got some things to say. Now, for people who don't understand what we mean when we're talking about liberal elites, just watch the Bill Maher show, because this perfectly exemplifies it. You know, much like celebrities at the Oscars who are rallying against guns and walls while they are surrounded by walls and armed guards. You know, I used to be a Democrat because I was told that they stood for the little people, for the middle class, for the poor, for the powerless, and Republicans were the party of big business, of Wall Street, and Halliburton, and George Bush, and Dick Cheney. But around the time of the Obama administration, that all changed. In 2008, many of Obama's top donors were Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup. I was a passionate Obama supporter in 2008. I volunteered for him, and then he got into office and sold out every single person who ever voted for him. Instead of going to prison, the people who tanked our economy, Obama put them in charge of the economy to run it. Geithner. Bitches. Today there's just nothing left in the Democratic Party that stands for the little people, and that is just perfectly exemplified by Bill Maher's rant. It is revealed at every possible moment how these leftists and Democrats really view their fellow citizens. Now, let's just acknowledge something right off the bat. Bill Maher has a net worth of $100 million. So let's have him tell us about the state of real America.
And finally, new rule: if Bugsy Siegel could invent Las Vegas out of a desert stopover for GIs, Amazon can turn Nebraska into the next Silicon Valley.
Turn Nebraska into Silicon Valley. So you mean a place of total intellectual hegemony that tramples our free speech and enacts mass censorship to institute a radical leftist ideology?
We have a problem in America called spatial geographic inequality.
Whoa, that's a lot of buzzwords. Go on.
Which means that the most affluent and educated people are clustered in just a few cities. Last year, Hillary Clinton said, "I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's gross domestic product. I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward." Yes, you did.
This honestly just makes me so mad I really don't even know what to say to it other than to let it speak for itself. I mean, I won the places that are diverse and dynamic. Really, what is your data to support that? I mean, this is how they look down on people. The only way to show that you're diverse and dynamic and optimistic is to vote Democrat. Oh, I won the places that make most of our GDP. Yeah, rich people voted for Hillary. I agree. I mean, why else would she bring that up? It's as if they're not even trying to hide anymore the fact that Democrats have become the party of the rich, affluent elite. Just like, shut up, Marie Antoinette.
And maybe that has something to do with why Trump voters are obsessed with owning the libs, because the libs own everything else.
Okay, so first of all, I would just like to say, I do not own the libs. I just rent them out for parties and special occasions. Own the libs. We don't need to own the libs. You do a perfectly good job yourself every time you open your mouth.
The blue parts of America are having a big prosperity party, while that big sea of red feels like their invitation got lost in the mail.
Okay, so I am in blue as hell New York City. What prosperity party? Yeah, maybe if you're Bill Maher, if you have $100 million in the bank, but for the rest of us, not so much. I mean, everybody I know, all of my friends are really struggling, trying to get by in these crazy expensive blue states as the cost of living soars and gets more and more expensive while the quality of life goes down. I mean, people are leaving places like New York and California in record numbers. In my city, our trains are falling apart, homelessness is skyrocketing. In places like San Francisco, they are literally up to their ears in shit. Where exactly is this blue state prosperity party that you speak of? I mean, we're supposed to be the envy of the world. For what? Because we can spend $200 to see the fucking Phantom of the Opera?
Our invitation got lost in the mail, and they still use the mail.
They use the mail. What sort of mongrel uses the mail? Oh, Amazon.
They turn on the TV and all the shows take place in a few hip cities. There's no Real Housewives of Toledo or CSI Lubbock.
Now, this is actually an important point he raised about the media. Not to go on a tangent, however, the media is run by 6 corporations in its entirety. And those 6 corporations are all located in the same places, New York and LA. And all share an ideology, and they are all pro-Democrat. They are all in the same places and all think alike. 90% at least of the media that we consume is left-leaning and pro-Democrat, which is why we are so shocked that this whole other part of the country exists. The media has painted a false picture of reality to give an impression that 99% of America agrees with them and that we've just been taken hostage by this teeny tiny little fringe minority. And an important thing to note, particularly for people who claim to not understand this issue of media bias, is that if you look at the landscape of late night shows and political comedy shows on television, Bill Maher, leftist Bill Maher, is the closest thing we have on television to an independent voice, or even a right-leaning voice. He's the only one who will, at least on occasion, criticize the left. If you look at all of the other late-night hosts, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, Samantha Bee, Trevor Noah, Chelsea Handler, John Oliver, every single one, there's not an inch of daylight between what they say and believe. Why is that? Why can there not be just one show on TV that has an independent or right-leaning perspective? Why is that? Now, some people say, oh, that's because the right just can't do political comedy. But you have many people online like Steven Crowder, Hunter Avallone, Mark Dice, lots of people who have 10 or 20 times the viewership of these late night shows that are wildly popular. And we see that anytime that there's a show on TV that's geared towards a conservative audience, it's wildly popular because it's so rare. Roseanne had the #1 show, Fox News is the #1 news channel. So it's not because it is a free market. It's not because these things would not be successful. It is because the media landscape is rigged to promote Democratic Party propaganda. It's not a free market, it is an ideological monopoly. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. I digress. Moving onward.
There are 2 Americas, and it seems like one is where all the cool jobs are.
I work at a bar on Christopher Street for minimum wage where they grab my ass and vomit on my shoes. But it's New York! Be jealous!
Where people drive Teslas and eat artisanal ice cream.
I'm sorry, I just tuned out because I am allergic to the word artisanal. Ooh, I said it!
Theater districts and world-class shopping. We have Chef Wolfgang Puck. They have Chef Boyardee.
Yes, Bill, that is what you eat when you are poor. Chef Boyardee or ramen noodles is what you can get at the bodega for $1 when you don't have $100 million in the bank. And that does not make us any less intelligent or less worldly than you are at your fucking corner table at Spago. Bitches.
There are no red carpets in Wyoming, and no one ever asks you, who are you wearing? Because the answer is always Target.
Oh my god, the people who shop at Target, those mongrels. Again, Bill, regardless of red states or blue states, that is what most of us little people can afford. My mom shops at Target. We are in a very blue state, and she will act like she won the lottery when she finds a good coupon. But, you know, that's probably just because we're rubes who are too stupid to know what's good for us. We need Bill Maher to tell us.
Our roofs have solar panels. Theirs have last year's Christmas lights. We've got legal bud. They've got bud.
It's just the same old tired bullshit. These morons who shop at Target and drink Budweiser and eat Chef Boyardee. It's just amazing to me that they don't see how insulting this sounds. Like, I'm just so beyond trying to figure out what exactly is in the minds of Democrats that they continue to think that this shit is a good idea.
The flyover states have become the passed-over states. That's why red state voters are so pissed off. They don't hate us. They want to be us. They want to go to the party.
Really? You know, for many of us, we may not be rich, but we like our lives. We like our Budweisers and our coupons and our country. And this is something that liberals cannot seem to get through their heads. We do not want to be you. We actually don't want to be anything like you. And I mean, if we're looking for an industry from which to get our morals, clearly it should be Hollywood, a place which is built on crony corporatism and exploitation, filled to the brim with sexual predators, and run by pedophiles. I mean, I would sooner take my virtues from the oil and gas lobby. And look at where this is coming from, Bill Maher. Bill Maher, who is a 63-year-old unmarried pothead, still bopping around the Playboy Mansion, still shtupping 20-year-olds. Like, nobody wants to be you, you stupid slut.
238 cities and regions submitted proposals to Amazon for the company to locate in their area, all desperate for jobs that don't involve guarding prisoners or murdering chickens. And Amazon picked two places that didn't need them at all, places where prosperity already was.
Now, of course, I agree with him on this point, and, you know, believe me, I can already hear a lot of you hitting up my Facebook comments and screaming, but Bill Maher is saying that they should build Amazon in Middle America, so he's really speaking up for these mouth-breathing morons. Alright. And, you know, of course, I agree with him on that one point. However, one throwaway sentence in a monologue cannot conceal the disdain and the hatred you have for people that is exemplified by every other word that comes out of your mouth.
But if liberals are serious about winning elections, they have to start recolonizing the parts of the country they've abandoned. If we keep leaving the red states behind, they're going to keep getting angrier and crazier.
The thing is, Bill Maher isn't saying that we should invest in the areas of the country because it would help people. He doesn't care about that. He's saying that they should do it because then those people might vote Democrat. That is all it is ever about for these people. Power. Now, of course, I agree that Amazon should invest in Middle America and build their headquarters there. I would love to see companies invest in places of the country that have had economic hardship. And the thing is, that isn't just places that we commonly think of, like Wisconsin. It's also places like Compton and Baltimore and Detroit. Not just the rural areas, but also the inner cities. You know, I'm so tired of hearing this phrase, the white working class. It's just the working class. We need to realize that there are many, many, many powerful entities and institutions in this country who want to keep us so divided down racial lines so that we won't understand that the struggles of those places and those people really aren't all that different.
Bezos, you're worth $130 billion. Take one for the team. Stop playing cities off against one another and help a dying one come back to life.
Stop pitting cities against each other. How do they not see the irony in their words? Like, this is why a lot of us think that leftists accuse other people of everything that they do. Stop pitting cities against each other. All you're doing is pitting cities against each other. All you're doing is pitting the entire country against each other.
What happens when Amazon moves to West Virginia? People get better jobs that don't give them black lung. The locals meet people of different races and backgrounds and sexual orientations, none of whom kill them. They find out gays don't ruin anyone's marriage. A yoga studio opens up, then an art gallery, a gym that admits women.
Right, this is just the same old tired Hillary line about red states just hate black people and they hate gay people and they hate women. But is that backed up by data? First of all, there have been studies showing that by many different metrics, the South is actually less racist than the North. And yes, places like Beverly Hills and Park Avenue and Martha's Vineyard are just renowned for their diversity. Actually, if you look at a list of the most racially diverse states in the country, of course you'll have your big cities, New York, California, but at the top of the list you'll also see places like Florida, Nevada, New Mexico, Virginia, Georgia. The data shows that Texas is actually basically just as diverse as California is. And when you look at the bottom of the list, the 5 least racially diverse states, you will see New Hampshire, Maine, and Bernie Sanders, Vermont. So, it's almost as if it's not actually about race and gender and sexuality. It's almost as if those are things that they use to emotionally manipulate us. Anyway, that's about the gist of what he said, but let's not forget that this is the same person who said this.
I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it, because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please, bring on the recession. Yeah. Sorry if that hurts people.
In the Great Recession, 8 million people lost their homes, 4 million people lost their jobs, and 2.5 million businesses closed. But who cares about that? Sorry if that hurts people. What really matters is that their corrupt crook of a career politician didn't get her turn. And all of this speaks to why I think Trump is going to be reelected, because you will never get people to vote for you or support your causes when you look down on them.
But am I saying that I'm better than you? I guess I'm going a little further than you are. Yeah, I'm fucking better than you, okay? Much better than you.
And people wonder why Trump's voters are so loyal to him. And it's because Americans love an underdog, and the media and liberal elitists have turned Trump and his voters into the ultimate underdog. And every time that the Bill Mahers and Michael Moores and Nancy Pelosi's of the world look down on them and say things like this, it bonds them closer together. I just don't understand how supposedly smart people who went to their Ivy League schools cannot understand basic cause and effect. How can you tell people, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're evil, you're deplorable, you're a bad person, now vote for me? Liberals are the ones who have built a wall. They've built the wall around themselves to shield out any dissenting opinion. Culture is what drives politics, and until the elitist culture of the left changes, they will never prosper electorally, I don't think. This is the man that I was proud to cast my vote for in 2008, of the party that I was so proud to call myself a member of.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
And this is the Democratic Party today.
I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's gross domestic product. So I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward, and his whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards. You know, you didn't like black people getting rights, you don't like women, getting jobs, you don't want to, see that Indian American succeeding more than you are, whatever your problem is.
Anyway, that's my rant. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm very sorry it's been a while since I made a video, but big things coming up on this channel. Subscribe, hit the bell, blah, 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 all the YouTube-y shit. You guys know what to do. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and how's this for a new rule? Shut the fuck up!